Hi everyone, come along with me for a week in my hobonichi daily journal. I was having kind of a crazy week. I had so many ballet classes this week. I was getting all of my work done before the holiday, so I figured it would be a really good week to capture in this kind of video. So on Monday, I was finally recovering from getting my flu and COVID shot this weekend. I got those shots way too early last year and actually ended up getting the flu over Thanksgiving, so I knew I had to wait it out a bit longer. I definitely lost my Sunday to the flu shot, but by Monday, I was finally feeling like a human being again. These sticker sheets that I've been using recently, I will have them linked below. They are such a lifesaver for me as someone who struggles to set up cohesive spreads sometimes because they're already organized thematically and by a color scheme. I think the true purpose of them is for those K-pop photo cards. I don't know if that's the right way to refer to them. I'm gonna look it up because I know someone's gonna know. Oh, it is called photo cards. Yeah, I'm like 8,000% sure that they are for photo cards. I bet by the time I link them down below, the description will have changed and it'll literally be called photo card stickers. But they are so convenient. You can use photo card stickers for your journal. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Yes, they are very small. However, they're kind of the perfect size for the A6. So if you are in an A6, they really fill up a page. In other news, on Monday, I finished the book Midnight by mcculloch. I recently read her book Breathless. They're both kind of like adventurous murder mysteries. Breathless takes place on Manaslu, which is a mountain in Nepal, and Midnight takes place on a luxury cruise to Antarctica. They're both murder mystery thrillers, but they're also both really detailed about the kind of equipment and training that you need in order to summit a peak like Manaslu or to navigate the expeditions that are happening on the Antarctic cruise. Both super interesting. As soon as I finished Midnight, I was like, I need to be on a cruise to Antarctica stat. And then I Googled it and I realized that the luxury cruise aspect of it is not optional. Basically, every cruise that goes to Antarctica is a luxury cruise, either just in the cruise line that operates it or the price of the ticket. But I was so enthralled by the activities that the main character has to do when she's not dodging a killer, okay? Going kayaking among icebergs, and you're seeing penguins, and you're camping out underneath the stars on like a glacier. I was so jealous of her. This author, I believe, is also working on her third murder mystery thriller type book. I believe it's about a woman who is running an ultramarathon in a desert. So I cannot wait to read that when it comes out. This book was also a nice kind of reprieve for me. I had spent the last 3 or 4 weeks straight listening to Iron Flame because the audiobook for that was 28 hours long, and I don't speed up the audiobooks that I listen to. I'll put it at like 1.15, but any faster than that and I just can't enjoy it. So I was really living in Iron Flame for the past month, and it was nice to read anything else. So I really enjoyed my time with Midnight. On Tuesday, I started a 4-class marathon of ballet classes. I had a lot of credits left over, so I was like, let me just see if I can get all these out of the way this week. Let's see if my body will hold up to it. I ended up really enjoying the daily schedule of going to class. It reminded me a lot of playing a sport in high school and having that kind of structure to your day. I did feel like by day 4, my muscles were just staying warmer throughout the day. I wasn't as sore afterwards as I thought I would be, so I was really psyched that I was able to do that, and it made me consider kind of upping my schedule in general with ballet classes, just because I usually go once a week. So by going 4 times, I got like a month's worth of class in that same amount of time. So I will definitely be thinking about changing my schedule a little bit. Since I finished up Iron Flame and Midnight, I am now listening to Heir of Fire. As I record this on the Sunday of this same week, I am still listening to Heir of Fire. I'm about 2 hours from the end of the book. I am reading the Throne of Glass series in the romance order, so I have not read Assassin's Blade yet. As far as SJM's other books, I've read all of ACOTAR, and I have read up to about halfway through the third Crescent City. I bought the book back when it was released. It was February or March of this year, and I was reading it, like I was kind of on the roll with it, and it just like fell off at some point, and I haven't gone back to it yet. I remember exactly where I am in the story, but I just haven't gone back to it yet. But Heir of Fire The whole series, I've really been impressed with knowing how young she was at the time, and honestly, like how much her writing improves. Like you can really tell that she's getting better at it as the series goes on, and how vivid the world that she's created is. It's all just really impressive. It's definitely something that as a teenager, I would have loved to be able to create. Since I got deep into Heir of Fire after finishing up Iron Flame, I was like, there are definitely a lot of similarities between the witches and the wyvern in Heir of Fire and the dragons and the riders, like everything about Iron Flame. I was like, okay, cite your sources. You know, I haven't read that much fantasy, so I don't know how common the terms wing leader and war games and wyvern riders are in fantasy books. But as soon as someone was talking about a wing leader and war games in like the same paragraph, I was like, wait a minute. Maybe it's a really common trope that I just don't know about. But I was like, yeah, I've seen this before. But hey, I enjoyed Iron Flame, so no hate from me. I'm just saying what I've noticed. I'm just saying what I've noticed. Wednesday, I had to film at night. The day was just a little bit busy. This little tea light that I have is inside a candle holder that I made in a pottery class, which is why it looks like shit. Not glazed, like the holes aren't the right size, but you would not believe how hard it is to throw clay on a pottery wheel. I had no idea. Everyone go try it because they make it look so much easier than it actually is. That thing was spinning out of control. It's a miracle that actually didn't collapse as I was creating it. So that's why I had to feature it here, because you would not believe how much mental effort that required to create. Also, how do we feel about the lighting in this video? Do we prefer when it's like candlelit and it's darker? I have my salt lamp in this video lighting it up as well. Or do we like when it's like natural light daytime? Just like what's nicer on the eyes? I like the way that these nighttime journaling videos look, but I don't know if like a whole video like this would be what people would want to see. I feel like most of the journal content that I see on YouTube is filmed during the day, so let me know what you think. I was at a new ballet class on Wednesday. It was a teacher I hadn't had before. I'm always really impressed with the instructors for adult classes. They give really great in-depth corrections, I think because they know that as adults, like, we are able to make adjustments a bit easier than kids would, you know, even if our bodies don't respond the same way. When I danced in high school, it was really focused on like contemporary and lyrical dance. That was like what everyone wanted to do. And there were ballet classes, but they weren't as often or as emphasized as like modern and contemporary classes. So I would like never get corrections in those ballet classes, which was always so frustrating to me because I wanted to get better at it so badly. And it felt like the teachers that I was taking ballet from at this school didn't even really know ballet very well. They were definitely more contemporary and modern teachers, which is fine for those styles of dance. But all I wanted was just to be get one like classical ballet lesson, which I never got. When I went to college, the same thing happened. I took like a ballet class there and it was like not a ballet class at all. We didn't even do bar. They didn't use any of the correct terms. We were running around the dance studio, like learning how to use our bodies freely. I was like, enough. I need a structured class. I need someone who's going to tell me I'm doing something wrong and exactly what I'm doing wrong and how to do it correctly. And this past year taking classes, it has been so nice to be in a class with a teacher who actually, I feel like, wants to see me improve and can tell me what I'm doing wrong and will tell me I'm doing it wrong. I really love ballet because it is so black and white sometimes, or a lot of the times with technique. You are either doing something correctly or incorrectly. So I feel like it's easy to see yourself improving because you're either going to be doing something the wrong way or the right way. I don't know why, I think my brain just does really well with that kind of like black and white thinking. I just want to know how to get better at something and what I need to do and be given the tools to do so. And it's just been so nice to have that this past year with teachers who put so much effort into their adult students. I think that's one of the best things about living in a big city is that you can there are so many resources for things like that. And honestly, even in that pottery class where I was picking it up big time on that pottery wheel, the guy teaching it was like straight up like, hey, you're doing it wrong. There's a right way to do it. You're doing it wrong. You have to do it like this. And was able to tell me exactly what I needed to do to end up with a completed piece. Sometimes it's like, I don't want to be told, oh, do whatever feels right. I'm like, I don't want to do what feels right. I want to do what is right. On Thursday, we finally got a heavy amount of rain in the city. It has been so long. I follow this account on Twitter called NYC Metro Weather, and he always like tracks like how long we go without rainfall. He rates each day out of 10 on like a scale of how nice it is to be outside. The guy who runs that account was so thrilled on Thursday that we were getting a rainstorm because we have needed it really badly. I don't have rain boots that fit me at the moment, so I wore my hiking shoes to class in the morning. And honestly, it worked. The light shifts so much during this day. The sun was going in and out of clouds, so that is why the colors are changing so much. Just bear with me. Both of my roommates ended up going home early for Thanksgiving, so I have been alone in the apartment since Thursday. Unpopular opinion maybe, but I hate being alone in our apartment. I have never really had any desire to live 100% alone. I don't think I ever will. The only time I've ever had my own apartment, quote unquote, was my senior year of college when I was an RA. So I had like my own dorm in a dorm building on campus. And even that, I was like, this sucks. I'm too much of like a social person to live alone because I feel like I end up isolating myself without even realizing I'm doing it. In the past, I've always been friends with my roommates. So like a majority of like my social interaction throughout a day is with my roommates. So when I've lived by myself, it's just been a bummer. And so senior year when I was an RA, I would have to be on call certain days during the month. So I'd have to like sit in my dorm room like all night and awake in case someone called me. And I would like make my friends come hang out. I didn't make them. They would choose to, but like I would have my friends over and we'd like watch movies when I would have to be on call, which was really nice because otherwise like it's just a bummer. Also, my dorm faced an alley. So the two windows like just faced into like an alley. So I also got no natural light. And in the alley was like a pizza place, just like a college pizza place. But it would like run like the fans on top all day long. So it would be like this grinding sound and it would shake the floor. And I was in like the corner of the building, like the inner corner of the alley. It was a Wi-Fi dead spot. So I couldn't get Wi-Fi in like the bedroom part of my dorm. It's just such a bummer. Like a dark, loud, but quiet Wi-Fi-less room that I lived in for a whole school year. That's like the college experience in a nutshell. But I had really great friends and they would come hang out with me a lot, so I didn't feel too lonely. But yeah, being in our apartment here alone, I just don't end up doing very much. Like I'm recording this after being alone for 3 or 4 days. And like I'll go out and like run errands if I have to, but otherwise like I won't do much. I'm flying to my parents' place tomorrow morning, which is nice. But I found myself thinking, oh, I should have just flown home earlier instead of waiting until Monday. But thankfully though, I actually had a record this night for work. So from 5 to 9, I was on a Zoom call during our record session. So I did feel like I was getting a little bit of social interaction from that. Friday was my 4th and final ballet class before the holiday. It ended up being really nice. Like I said before, my muscles felt really warm. I felt really prepared to walk over there in the morning. So I ended up really liking it, and my teacher was excited for me. She knew it was my last one of 4. So she was like, "Are you relieved to be done?" And I was like, "Yeah, a little bit." I won't be able to take class again until I come back from the holiday, which will be on December 4th. So hopefully like the 10 days away from it doesn't undo all of the work I did this week. The first week of December, it'll be a year since I started going to class. It's really flown by. This whole year was honestly super fast. I say that every year, but it's true. Every year it just gets faster. So that was a week in my hobonichi. I hope you've enjoyed. I really love when I get the chance to film a whole week like this because I feel like it makes me get a little bit more creative with my daily spreads. Sometimes my daily pages are just like a few scribbles on the paper, so I like getting to sit down and think about how I actually want the page to look. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and here's a bonus clip of the first candle that I lit on Wednesday night, where the wick was way too long and burst into flames immediately upon lighting, and I had to remove it because it seemed like it was going to burn my room down.